Well, the letter claims men have been punished summarily, forced out of their jobs, when all they did was touch someone's knee or try to steal a kiss. Well, it goes on to say that rape is a crime, but trying to seduce someone, even persistently or clumsily, is not, and nor is men being gentlemanly a chauvinistic attack. What do you think? Well, joining me now is Whelan. She's the author of What Women Want, Fun, Freedom and an End to Feminism. And joining me as well is the television and radio presenter Sarah Jane Crawford. Thank you both for joining us. Ella, I know what your thoughts are. Actually, you agree with these 100 women, as I said, who signed this letter. But after decades of women feeling they don't have a voice, they don't have anybody to turn to, finally that is happening. Surely this letter in itself, signed by women, is going to cause damage to that.
Well, that's a really interesting idea, because I don't actually think that women have felt voiceless. I think one of the key kind of misunderstandings of the Me Too movement, and partly why it kind of makes me so cross in many ways, is that it assumes that women have been silent up until now, and that is kind of a historical sort of amnesia, because women in the past, feminists in the past, fought hard battles to be seen as equal, to gain freedom, to gain sexual freedom. I mean, life is not perfect today, but we live very good lives in the West, women, because of the battles of our ancestors. And I think that really what this letter is doing is continuing that argument, is saying that women should feel empowered, shouldn't feel victimised. And I think the question it raises about Me Too is that in this celebration of women as sort of vulnerable, sort of wilting flowers has been the term that's been used, it completely undermines those battles that we made in the past. It undermines our position as strong, independent women. And so I'm completely behind this letter, because it's arguing for a true sort of view of women's liberation, which I think the Me Too movement has lost.
Sarah Jane, this is something that didn't just rock Hollywood, didn't just rock America, it went on to rock the world, rock parts of Europe, rock here in the UK. Do you think that that these women, they're right?
Look, no one's trying to conflate the idea of rape and just a bit of flirting in the workplace, but what really makes me angry, and I get that you're promoting an anti-feminist book and maybe that's your argument today, is I don't like the idea of a letter like this trampling over the tone of the letter, and the tone of an argument like yours is it's trampling over, the confidence that women have finally got together, the courage to come forward and speak up about something that's going on, where basically they're being taken advantage of.
I mean, it's interesting that you've drawn the fact that the idea that it's anti-feminist. I think what this whole Me Too movement has brought up is a question of what does feminism do for women today?
But why is it feminism? Why is it that we call it feminism? Isn't it just that we're defending people who are in a vulnerable situation? Why is that feminism just because it's women?
Well, I mean, a discussion about feminism is a whole different thing, but sticking to...
But that's what you stand for, isn't it? Anti-feminism.
Well, I stand for a very serious kind of assessment of what feminism is doing for women today. And I think with the Me Too is such a good example, because what it really is doing is not talking about the serious instances of rape or sexual violence, and in conflating them with come-ons we've had, like with Westminster texts, knee touches. Hang on, if I can just finish.
But what about knee touches?
Sorry.
OK, so you're an assistant editor of a magazine. I don't know how large your office is, but if one of your juniors came to you, you're in a senior role, and said, someone's touched my knee, someone slapped my bottom at a Christmas party, would you just say, oh, get over it, it's a minor thing?
No, I mean, this is the kind of funny thing. It always gets... Well, I mean, you can have a very principled position on sexual harassment and sexual violence and on unwanted behaviour and bad behaviour. So, like someone persistently flirting with you isn't necessarily a serious sexual harassment that deserves to be criminal.
Should someone
hang on. You asked me a question. You're asking me a question. I am. Give me a second. Yeah. So we can condemn sexual harassment, which we should, and certainly rape and sexual violence. We can also say when men behave badly, that's not on either, and kind of confront them, of course.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that we then, I think what Me Too has done, create a panic about sex in general and ask for more workplace policies, for more stringent policing of people's behaviour in the workplace. I, like many people, enjoy the kind of, perhaps flirtations, easy relationships that you can have in the workplace. And I think more restriction, which what Me Too calls for, is bad.
Sarah Jane, you can't deny the fact that, of course, there has been change in that women feel that they're brave enough, they can speak, they do have a voice. Yeah. However, the change also is from men, from males' point of view. are they okay to try and pick another lady up? Is it okay to approach a woman? We could have men worry that if they do something clumsily, as this letter said, this could ruin their careers, it could ruin their reputation.
Look, for me, I was talking to a young lawyer the other day. She's at a Magic Circle law firm, and, you know, she's one of the only women that was taken into a training programme, and she was saying to me that there's constantly comments about the fact that, oh, you only got the job because you know the size of your bum and stuff like this. And I said, why don't you speak to HR? And she was like, I don't want to rock the boat. Like, we need to overcompensate for the fact that women feel like they don't have a voice. And it's all well and good to say historically that has been the case. But clearly, you know, we're still living in a time where people don't feel confident enough to talk about what they're going through. And if you can't be in a working environment and understand what's professional and what's not, you shouldn't be in that working environment.
No, absolutely. You're right that we should support women. There should be support for women who encounter those negative interactions, and that those policies are in place. I mean, we do have a very policed workplace.
But isn't what you're saying damaging
hang on,
that,
we
though?
have no, it's not what I'm not at all. I think what's damaging women's liberation and damaging women's position as equal members of society as men is this focus on victimhood, is this idea that women are silent, that women have been, you know, silent for years. Women haven't been silent for years. We are here today because of the bravery of women in the past.
Many women have been silent
Sarah
for years,
Jane,
and not everybody
Sarah
has the
Jane,
voice that
Ella,
you have as an
I'm
assistant
so
editor.
you know what, we can
Thank
continue
you.
with this once I get to the next VT, but Sarah Jane and Ella Whelan, really good talking to you both.
Thank you.
Definitely showing exactly the kind of frustrations and debate that's been going on elsewhere. And if you have a story of everyday harassment that you want to share, please do make sure you get in touch with us. You can do that on Twitter, write a message or post a video.